Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
This is a new violin. It's a J-hide violin. And we're going to fit a new sound post. So I use, to light up the inside, an LED light called the illuminator. And I developed this many years ago and sell it to a lot of the violin shops. So we light up the inside. I'm going to measure the theoretical distance of the sound post using this small tool. I've already measured on the top using a painter's tape that doesn't harm the varnish, the theoretical place for the bridge and the sound post. And now I'm going to go in and measure the length of the sound post using this small tool. So this is the length. And then I use some calipers. So around 53 millimeters, 5.3 millimeters, or 5.3 centimeters, 53 millimeters, is the theoretical distance with no tension. So I'm going to cut the sound post a little bit longer than that. And I use a tool that's been developed many years ago that we put the sound post into, and I've cut the sound post a little bit longer. And this tool is made of boxwood, and this has a 5-degree angle this way and 90-degree this way, and it's the correct diameter of the violin sound post. These are available for both viola and for cello. I put it into my vise and clamp it gently. Use a very sharp planer blade, and then I can cut the sound post with absolute perfect accuracy. Very quickly, with perfect accuracy. And if I need to adjust the length of the sound post, that can be done easily. Like less than 1/10 of a millimeter, I can cut off and get exactly the same angle. So I've cut this sound post longer than needs to be, just for the preliminary cuts. I'm going to measure it. Oh, I've cut this one too short. It's 52.4. So I've got to make one that's longer. Okay, let's start. This one is starting off at 55. So I cut that one too short. I made a mistake.
Impossible.
I'm using a very old sound post because the wood is quite old and it's very light, but yet it's strong. So this one is 54.5. And I'm estimating the correct angle that this violin needs at 5 degrees. Most violins are anywhere between 4 degrees and 6 degrees. So this is a Stradivari model, and it's probably very close to 5 degrees is the correct angle.
Where do you get your tools?
This was made, I made it myself. I buy the sound post material from a supplier, and this came from a hand plane, and I've sharpened it, and this is down to 54.2, so we're going to cut it a little bit shorter. I want to go to about 53.5, be a half a millimeter too long, just as the first preliminary fitting. I want the sound post to have just enough tension inside the new violin that without strings or a bridge, that it just barely stands up with the minimum amount of pressure on the top and the back. So this is 53.7. Let's leave it at that. I preliminary check to see if the angle is correct by placing the sound post on the outside and see if it's at right degrees. See if it stands correctly. This is at 5 degrees and it's angling just a little bit this way. So I'm going to cut a 6-degree angle into it instead of a 5-degree. And it's very easy to do on this, and I can show you how. Expose just a little bit more. See how thin we can make a cutting, and it's absolutely perfect. So I will very gently go inside and push it. Don't do this at home by yourself. Take your instrument to a professional and let them do this job. Now we'll use just a business card that I've cut, and we'll check the position of the post, preliminary. The position this way is good, but it's way too far inside the instrument. So I'm going to push the top of the post further towards the edge. I want to look inside. It's a little bit too long. So I need to cut the post. So there. And we will cut the post a little bit shorter. We know that we use 6 degrees block. And let's go about 0.2 of a millimeter shorter. And that's easily done using this method. So let's measure it. It is 53.2 now. Where's my eraser? 53.2 millimeters, and the angle is the same. So again, we're going to spear this. I set the bottom of the post and then squeeze just a little bit to expand it. And then I'm looking through to be sure the post is pretty much straight up and down. And then I'll gently pull the top towards me. Now let's look. Ah, that seems to be fitting pretty good. Let's check the position. Much better. I'm going to pull the post out and just a little bit forward. Let's measure. That looks good. It needs to come out just a little bit more. You have to be very careful when you do this not to do damage. There, it moved just a little bit. Just a little bit more. I think I'll try to push it instead of pull it. It moved just a little bit. That's what we want. Yes, that looks good now. Okay, let's check the fit. Beautiful.